Welcome to Could It Exist in Real Life, where cyber doesn't often apply to robotics. Just recently, I decided to watch a show I enjoyed growing up as a kid. It was a collaboration between Japanese animators, Argentinian comic book writers, and Canadian producers, and it kicked ass. This was Cybersix. I said 6.
While looking up the history of the show, I found that it had a long and bizarre one. For starters, it was made in 1992 in Argentina by Argentine comic writers Carlos Maglia and Carlos Trillo. The comic itself was well known for line-crossing mature themes. It was later adapted into a short-lived live-action series in 1995 and a kids' cartoon series in 1999. The latter of which was a show I grew up watching and was one of the staples of the then-new channel Teletoon before it became our version of Cartoon Network and Adult Swim.
Whatever you do, don't show this comic to Ankara. If he read this before watching the show, his mind would go blue screen of death trying to comprehend how this ended up being rated TV youth.
The story goes like so. In the city of Meridiana, Argentina, a mysterious woman in black stalks the night fighting criminals, monsters, and the like. Her name is Cybersix, an artificial human being created by former SS scientist Dr. Von Richter.
Seriously, despite her name, she's not robotic in any way?
Six looks as human as you or me, except she has enhanced strength, agility, and durability. However, she's not without fault. Much like other creations of Dr. Von Richter, she depends on the chemical substance called sustenance to stay alive and enhance her abilities, which she gets by killing other creations and stealing the vials of the stuff.
In the comics, they took a more vampiric approach to the idea, but it was actually pretty damn clever what they did in the cartoon. The monsters she kills basically have power-ups inside them like a video game.
By day, Cybersix poses as a literacy teacher named Adrian Seidelman, who meets and befriends fellow teacher Lucas Amato. While trying to fight off the affections of Lori, a delinquent student who has the hots for Adrian.
That was the one thing I could never understand. Even though Lori does not pay any attention in his class, she has the hots for Adrian. Any other person in her position would pretty much at least make a half-assed attempt to put an effort in paying attention to impress the person they have a crush on.
Besides, Adrian's clearly got a thing for Lucas. Why else would they go out for coffee all the time?
Along the way, Cybersix also makes a few new friends and enemies, such as Data 7, a panther with the brain of her dead brother Cyber 29, which gives him human-like intelligence. Julian, a street urchin who Cyber saves from the life of crime and becomes a major ally whether she likes it or not. And Jose Von Richter, a goose-stepping, spoiled brat of a son of Von Richter's who serves as the main antagonist of the show, who wants to be crime boss of Meridiana.
The less you know about his ambitions, the better, in the comic. Don't you dare Google it. But let's just say being a Hitler Youth is only the tip of the iceberg for this little bastard. Now, the usual gag is Von Richter sends him a monster of the week, Cybersix foils it with the help of a friend, and Von Richter berates Jose for being an idiot, even though he's the dumbass that sent him the monster in the first place, and underestimating 6. Rinse and repeat. Now, there's no way this could exist, right?
Well, first of all, in regards to Von Richter and his projects, Richter himself was based off of high-ranking SS Heinrich Himmler, who, along with being obsessed with the paranormal, helped founded Lebensborn, a decade-long project in World War II which dedicated itself to increasing the declining Aryan race, who would then later be trained to become Nazis themselves, most of which were Aryan children who had been taken captive against their will.
Rumor has it was meant to help create the Ubermensch, or Superman. Of course, much like in the comics, it doesn't really end well for the Nazis, especially since their project is never extinct.
Another part of Von Richter's history was based off an old scandal regarding many members of the Nazi Party escaping to South America, most of whom were being pursued by Nazi hunter Ephraim Zuroff, who ironically was searching for them in Argentina around the time the cartoon was being produced. The scandal has been subjected to many documentaries as well as the famous thriller film Boys from Brazil.
Data 7, on the other hand, is a mixed bag, since he's a panther with a human brain. No one knows if such a thing could be achieved, nor would they dare try lest they be in violation of both animal and human rights. However, that does not mean there aren't other methods.
For example, Harvard has done an experiment last year using an EEG and computer interface that allows a human being to control the mind of an animal through thoughts alone. So odds are it won't be long until they can transfer the whole consciousness into the mind of animals.
Plus, it would save Von Richter a bundle on stitches and surgical tools.
Then there's Jose. You gotta understand that Jose is not really Von Richter's son. He's his clone, so it's kinda obvious he can exist.
Last but not least is Cybersix herself. Aside from what was mentioned above, there is one possibility that I found by accident when I was reading the comics themselves.
In 1984, there was an article in the New York Times that was one of the inspirations for the comic. It regards a millionaire couple named Mario and Elsa Rios. They couldn't have children, so they paid for frozen embryos as a means of artificial insemination. However, the poor couple died in a plane crash, and their greedy relatives court-ordered the embryos to be destroyed.
Now, even though it's public knowledge that these embryos were destroyed, however, what if the scientists in charge didn't destroy them and bring themselves in? What if maybe, just maybe, he raised at least one of them, and this particular one is among us today? As usual, debate, argue, and let me know what I missed. Stay tuned for more.